Ice is a strange medium. It's quite different to anything else. I've been doing ice sculpting now for about 9 years. You have to have the right clothing. Your fingers and your hands are the worst. They'll get cold before anything else. Temperatures are interesting. Your freezer at home is about -18 degrees. If we run ice at -18 degrees, it becomes subject to cracking. So what we do is we run the freezer and everything else at -10 degrees. You can do anything you like with it. You can use chainsaws, chisels, and it won't crack. It's a physical job in here. The ice is heavy and it might sound silly, but lots of times I'm in here and I'm sweating inside my freezer gear. The tools we use are a lot of them very similar to woodworking tools, but a lot of chisels, ice picks, we have special drill bits. Chainsaws, we use angle grinders, hot irons. We can use all sorts of weird things. We've never really had any disasters. You learn how to fix things on the job because water and ice is a glue. You can glue anything back together. It's a job you do and it disappears. It only lasts for 8 hours. Most of our work comes from big events, corporate sculptures, weddings, restaurants for food service, TV ads. We've made a full-size V8 supercar, a 4-metre-long dog bowl on Bondi Beach in the middle of summer. So we've done all sorts of weird things. They're a challenge. That's what I enjoy because basically I'm an engineer. The skills you really need is A, you have to be strong because this ice is heavy. B, you have to know how to handle power tools without chopping fingers off, which is very, very important. And then you really need a sense of pride and curiosity, I guess. It's wonderful when you go and do a job and everyone looks at it and goes, wow, how did he do that? And to see people really enjoying it, taking photos with it, that's the satisfaction you get. My name's Mick and I'm an ice sculptor.
I love rainy days, and this is a great rainy day project. You do need to do a little bit of prep the day before, and if you've got some watercolour paper at home, that's a really good thing to use. But if you don't worry, just use whatever paper scraps you've got at home. So today we're making a cloud collage. So I've tried to think about the kind of colours that I see in the sky that I really like when the sun's setting, there's some pinks and purples and blues, but you don't have to stay completely realistic. You can have a bit of fun and use hot pink or whatever you want, really. So the first thing that you need to do for your prep is to get your watercolour paper and your paints and a little bit of water. So the colours I've used are magenta, which is my favourite colour, and it's also a colour that you really often see in the sky, especially at sunset. And I've used a dusty pink and a turquoise, a light blue, and it's always really good to have a bit of white on your palette, just in case you want to lighten up a colour. Add a fair bit of water to your paint. Don't worry if the colours mix together, it's totally fine. Actually, sometimes that's what looks the best. And there's not really a particular technique that I'm using, except that I'm adding a fair bit of water and just washing right over my page. These pieces of paper are going to be the parts of your collage later that are the clouds and the mountains and the raindrops. So think about the colours you see in the sky and just try to make sure you do a few blues, especially for the rain, and some green for the mountains, and that's literally it. It's really easy. Okay, I think I'm done. So I've done about 8 or 10 sheets. I'm gonna put these aside to dry and use them tomorrow. Okay, so now we're ready for our collage. So what you're going to need, some paintbrushes, paint, cardboard, pre-painted watercolour paper, scissors, pencil, glue. So to paint our background, we're going to choose some colours that you would normally see in the sky. I'll use a thick brush. A really fun way to paint, and something I really like to do, is to mix my colours on my paper. It just adds a really nice streaky effect. Don't add too much water with this one. Just because you're using cardboard, sometimes it can make it go a little bit bubbly. I'm using a light purple, a magenta, a really nice light blue, and a light pink. But you can use whatever you like. Okay, so I've finished painting our background. I'm going to set that aside to dry, and we're going to start drawing out our clouds, mountains, and raindrops. So let's pick some colours for our clouds. I think I'll go with some nice pinks, some blues, purples, maybe some dusty pinks. This one's pretty nice. You can use whatever you want. Get your pencil, and we're going to start drawing on the coloured side of our watercolour paper. When you draw clouds, it's really simple. It's just some curved lines. There's not really a rule about the size. Actually, it's really good to have a variation of sizes. So I'll do some larger, some smaller, some more fluffy than others. You can be pretty rough because we're going to cut these out later anyway. So if you sort of do a line that you don't like I just did, don't worry about it. That's the best thing about collage, is that if you make a mistake, you can just stick something over the top of it. So I'll do a few more. So now it's time to cut them out. Make sure you've drawn a couple of clouds in a few different sizes. Grab your scissors. I usually cut a little bit inside of the line that you've drawn, just so that you don't have a pencil line on your finished collage. You can always add more clouds later, so just do however many you think you might need, and then if you haven't done enough, just cut some more out. I'm going to do about 10. Okay, let's draw our raindrops. I'm going to grab some of my blue pieces. You can draw them all different sizes. Just start at the top, draw a round bit at the bottom, and then join back up to the top. You're going to need a few of these. You can always add more though. I'm going to draw about 20. Okay, let's cut them out. These ones are pretty small. They're a bit more fiddly than the clouds. So I'm cutting these into a square first, so it's easier for me to cut the raindrop shape out. Okay, let's draw some mountains. These ones are the easiest. It's just a line, start at the bottom, go up, and draw like a camel hump, pretty much. You can draw two together, you can draw one on its own, you can draw a big mountain range of 4 or 5. Be creative. Some are low, some are high, whatever you want. Cool, I think that's enough. Now cut all these out and we're ready to start putting our collage together. I think the easiest way is to start from the bottom and move up. So I'm going to start with the mountains. Don't stick anything down yet, just lay it all out, because then you can move things around, you can change things, you can add, you can take away, and start from the outside and work your way in. You don't have to, but I think it makes things easier. So I'm pretty happy with where the mountains are, and now I'll start with my clouds. So spread them out. Sometimes you can stick a little one on top of a big one. And don't forget, you can always add more, so don't be scared of making a mistake, because we haven't even stuck anything on the page yet. So I'm happy with where the clouds and the mountains are. I'm going to stick those down first, and then we're going to stick the raindrops on top. Now, watercolour paper is quite thick, so you do need a lot of glue to make sure that the edges don't lift up. All right, time to stick our raindrops on. A little tip with this is that rain falls out of clouds. So I like to start them coming out of the bottom of the cloud and then just scatter them around. And also you can go and fill in the gaps later with them. You can always add more. All right, we're all stuck down, so leave it to dry for about an hour, and it's a really good idea to put on some heavy books to stop those edges from curling up. And here it is, our rainy day cloud collage, a perfect project for when you're stuck indoors.
Today we're going to make an amazing rain cloud light, and here's what you'll need. Some wadding or pillow stuffing, a paper lantern, hot glue gun, a cool temperature battery-powered LED, some string, and the scissors. The first step is to assemble the paper lantern. Every one should come with this wire frame, and that's going to hold it open. Pull it apart, and you just put the wire through the middle and just clip it onto those rings, and it should just lock into those little bits of wire there. And that's our paper lantern assembled. And then we put that aside. we grab some wadding, and this is going to form a layer around our lantern. Well, nice thin pieces, and we want to lay it on in a random pattern, just like clouds are. So start by putting a little bit of hot glue onto the paper. Just like that. And grab your piece of wadding, and being careful because the glue can be hot. And you just want to push it down onto there. Another piece of glue. And that should hold that into place. So the idea is to cover the paper lantern, leaving holes at the top so you can fit the light in. And as you layer it, it'll form different shadows and different thicknesses. Okay, so you just want to stick it on randomly. So the wadding is just what they use to stuff pillows or blankets, and you just grab it at the fabric store. And just keep going round and round until you've covered all that lantern up. Nearly done, guys. Bit more, the fluffier the better. So I'm just holding it with one hand and just patting it down with the other lightly. Be careful not to pat too hard because the glue is hot. I'm happy with that cloud cover, and now it's time to put the light in. So I'm going to tie a string to it so we can hang it anywhere we like. Tie a knot. This is the light. It's got batteries inside. It's going to sit inside the lantern and bring our cloud to life. So let's just put it in. LED lights are a good choice because they don't give off a lot of heat. But to be safe, make sure you never leave your cloud light unattended while it's switched on. And switch it on. He loves the cloud. Now we've got a cool cloud ready to hang wherever you like. Hi, I'm Sebastian and I'm an artist. So, roll out your sleeves, get ready to get a bit gooey. The kind of art I like to make is more sculptural, and I like incorporating technology into it as well. Ta-da! The work I'm doing at the moment is in film, and I'm a sculptor on film sets. I'll go through it. This is really made out of junk. So here, that's old CD racks. Processes in my art involve a lot of problem solving, a lot of hard work. They're always quite large scale, so yeah, there's a lot of space required and a lot of people, so it's always great collaborating. Get set, shoot! I love working with timber, I love working with plastics, materials, anything really that's malleable and I can get my hands into. Clay, I love sculpting, polystyrenes, anything that's really physical and hands-on. Pulling it away until it's all gone. It should just come off really easily. The process in my art involve a lot of technology, a lot of problem solving, a lot of repetition, and a lot of hard work. And there you go, you finished hand mold. Rock on. You have to use your imagination a lot and make it real. So yeah, to realize it, you have to see it. And so yeah, you really have to get involved. Just pop a phone in him, and the sound bounces around his mouth and comes out louder than you'd ever expect. The piece I'm most proud of is a sculpture I did for Vivid Festival, which is a light festival in Sydney, called Robotanic, and it was my first public piece, and yeah, a lot of hard work, but a lot of reward. It was very nerve-wracking when the public saw it because you're being judged there and then, and yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but a lot of fun. My art philosophy would be have fun whilst doing it. If you're not having fun and you're not truly motivated or inspired to do it, it can be very difficult because you do put a lot of energy in. So yeah, have fun and enjoy it. 3, 2, 1. My first memory of art would be entering a competition in the newspaper when I was about 5 years old, and it was to draw an aeroplane. your favourite aeroplane. I remember winning a How to Make Paper Aeroplanes book from doing it, and that was my first kind of, oh, I can do this. Forget the manicure, guys. Creepy claws are where it's at. I'm going to show you how to make them. Subjects I loved at school, obviously arts and woodworking and anything revolved around that, but I also loved maths and engineering as well, I did. And that, I've always been quite mathematical. And then, yeah, we were lucky enough to do surfing for sport, so I loved surfing as well. People commenting on my work is confronting sometimes. I kind of shy away from talking about it. If someone says something, I try to end the conversation pretty quickly, but I'm getting better at it, and you have to be confident about what you do if you're putting it out there, so it's a learning curve, but yeah, it's any talk about my work is great. Now this hand's done, we'll do the same for the other hand, and then all we need is a cool party to go to. Actually, we've got a wedding next week.
There's nothing scarier than thunderstorm and lightning strikes in the middle of the night, but that's my inspiration for my next easy Halloween look, a stormy night sky. For this frightening look, you will need face paints, eyeshadows, sponges, makeup brushes, art brushes, a lip colour of your choice, and some water. This is Maddie. Grab your sponge, dip it in the water, and go for your first face paint colour. Mine will be black. We're going to start over the eye, just focusing on this area here. And go over the eyelid very gently, as it's a sensitive area. It doesn't matter if some areas are darker or lighter than others. We're going for a cloud look. And once again, very gently under the eye. And I'm happy with that, so I'm going to move on to the next colour. And this just gives it some depth. So I'm going to be focusing around the same area as I put the black. And dabbing over to even it out. And that's the face paint side done. We'll fill that in with eyeshadow using similar colours we've already used. Oh, and your hands might get a bit dirty, but just wash it off before you touch anything else. So with my large eyeshadow brush, tapping off the excess, and then I'm going to change to some dabbing motions. It gives a more soft and fluffy look of a cloud. Keep going until you finish this whole side of the face, and then we'll move on to the other eye. On this side of the face, we're only using eyeshadows. I'm going to have the cloud drifting down the face so it looks like the storm is brewing. It always helps to tap off the excess. I'm now going to go with the same eyeshadow brush, but with a black, add some dimension. The cloud looks like it's about to storm. It just needs some lightning. You'll need some clean water for this. So with that, I'm going to grab a super thin and fine art brush to make the lightning precise. Dip it in the water, then in the white face paint. Have a good coverage on the brush. And starting at the forehead and going down the face, you can have one lightning strike, but I might do a few. Some of the lightning strikes will be thicker and others will be really thin, like they're about to disappear. So when that dries, we're going to grab a clean eyeshadow brush with some white eyeshadow to blend it in for a misty look. When blending in, you can start off with some dabs and then gliding over. You can use the white eyeshadow around the edge of the cloud and also on any points of the lightning strike to highlight. Let's take a shimmery eyeshadow with the same eyeshadow brush on the highlighted areas. So that'll be along the cheekbones and eyebrows. To finish off this stormy cloud look, I'm gonna add colour to the lips, purple and blue. But you can use any colour you like, and you'll need a lip brush. I'm using a really fine lip brush so I can get really close to the lip line.
You can use this look to add an extra level of drama or scare to any costume or character. Boom!